one of the first things as a chess coach I do, or any chess coach does, is to teach young players tactics. Tactics are one of the most important sort of parts of a chess player's ammunition in order to gain an advantage. It's not enough just to play the opening and know all the opening moves, or even understand basic endgame concepts. If you cannot see your tactics, then you're probably not even going to get to that stage. So tactics are very, very important for chess players at any level. And we're going to see now one of Sergei's games against another strong player, rated around 2400, his game against Sergei Zavgorodniy in the Ukrainian Under-14 Championships. And this was played in 2001 when he was just 11 years old, so a little bit older now. He has a rating of 2269, so very strong. And it's clear that he's also done a lot of work on his tactics, because he ends this game with a nice flourish, with a nice tactical idea. And it's all based on the fact that he was looking for this idea. It's clear it didn't just come about by coincidence. He actually played it with an idea, with this winning move. Here we see the position, and the position is fairly closed. But we see that white has the two bishops against the bishop and knight. And we say that bishops like open positions. And the problem for black is solid, but he doesn't really have any scope. But black's just going to try and play moves like rook d8 and kind of, get his pieces in the central squares and just stay solid. What Karjakin wants to do for the bishops is actually blow open the position. And that explains why in this position d5 was played. It opens up the bishop on b2, and it also tries to blow open the position for the bishop on g2 along the long diagonal. And thirdly, it also helps the rook on d1. So this was clear. It was clear that Karjakin had this move d5 planned quite a number of moves ago. Now he doesn't have to play it in this position. In fact, the computer says g4 first, with the idea of playing g5 and then going d5 later. But as a young player, Sergei can be forgiven for wanting just to play really attacking straight away. So he played d5, and this puts the most amount of pressure on his opponent. So black has to do something about it, and he can't just close the position with something like e5, because then d takes c6 will unleash the rook onto the queen. So black has to do something about that. He has to take it, and he took with the e-pawn. And after the exchange, he played c5 to close the position. So whilst white has a passed pawn on d5, what black is hoping is that the bishop on g2 and the rook on d1 are less effective. So Karjakin has to be careful in this position that black doesn't get some kind of favourable position where the knight on d7 ends up on d6. You may know the idea of using your knights to blockade passed pawns. Although the knight is very far away from d6 at the moment, as I said, if white drifts a little bit, he may end up in that position. So Karjakin is going to be looking to play actively, something I said he likes doing, and this position is no different. So he played bishop h3, immediately putting pressure on black's position. So he's threatening to play, for example, if I give black a move b5, he's threatening to play bishop takes d7. Black has to watch out for the bishop on b2, on f6, so he plays bishop takes b2. But now after queen takes b2, we have the mate threat on g7. So black is unable to actually take the bishop back on d7. And here we see one of black's problems. He has to be extremely careful that there aren't tactics already in this position for him. So he played rook d8 to defend the knight on d7. Rook e1, bringing in the last piece. So I think it's another thing, you can be carried away by playing a lot of tactics. But do not forget that you have to bring in all your pieces. One bad piece can cost you. So the rook on f1 wasn't really doing a lot, so Karjakin simply brings it in. Black exchanged on b2, and now this allows white the checkmating idea. Of course black spotted that, so he swapped and played knight f6. I think black was fairly satisfied with his position here. I mean, white is struggling now to defend his pawn on d5. The bishop on h3 shooting in mid-air, isn't it? Not really doing anything now. And although white has lovely diagonals for his queen and a lovely open line for his rook, if the queen and rook can't actually do anything to infiltrate in this position, then white might end up in a little bit of trouble. Obviously white is not losing, but I think black decided that this was the safest idea. However, there was a bolt from the blue in this position. And can you see it? It's a lovely move. The idea is, as we see the green arrows here, the queen and rook are very effective. What can white do to interfere with black's position, black's coordination? And the move played rook e6, a fantastic move from Karjakin. And it forced immediate resignation here, because the queen is attacked and the rook is attacked. So why can't black just simply capture? Well, the idea is after queen takes f6, black's coordination between the queen and the knight has been immediately cut off. And not only is white threatening to go queen g7, the bishop on h3 now has a fantastic diagonal as well to cut into the black's position with bishop takes e6. And do we notice how, for example, after rook d7, we see the queen and bishop working extremely well together, don't they? Like that. The queen covering all of the black squares around the king, and the white bishop covering the white squares around the king. So kind of coordination from white. So what we see was a lovely tactical idea from Karjakin, where he understood the coordination between his pieces, and the idea of rook e6 was to actually cut the coordination of his opponent's pieces. So this theme of rook e6 is something you often see in books, but when you have it in a game, you don't have anyone to tell you that there is a tactic in the position. You have to kind of feel and kind of understand what kind of tactical motives you're looking for, and Karjakin certainly had that in this game. So Downing, a very strong player here with this idea of rook e6, and I really believe that he saw that quite a number of moves. Possibly he even saw it before he played d5, or around the time he played d5. So excellent tactical variation there from Sergei Karjakin. Again, demonstrating another bow to his armoury, which is this idea that tactics are very important for chess players.